Hey, what's up, Amy? This is a quick demo video for you for your Darksaber by Solo's Hold. I was gonna wait until tomorrow, but I got this done. I let you know it was done. I didn't want you to have to wait, so I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll demo this now, walk you through it, and that way I can get it out in the mail tomorrow. For the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna leave this panel off. So as you know, this is it's attached with magnets. It goes right here. Slaps right on. In order to get this off though, you will have to unscrew that bolt right there, the screw on the other side right here. This piece pulls out and then you're able to put your finger in there and pop this panel loose, and you will have to do that to put your battery in and out. So what you've got here is I made my own chassis. It's very similar, if not almost the same looking as what everybody else is using, because this is pretty much lined out in here. So where the battery goes is actually milled out inside the handle, so the battery must go here. Of course, the pommel cap is here with your sound venting, so the speaker must go here. I did, if you can see that in the video there, I did tilt my speaker down this way so that I could pop the sound out that way as much as I could. Any more of an angle for that speaker, if I had gone this much further, it would be hitting the back of that battery tab. So it's angled as much as it can be without interfering with the positive battery tab. You got a channel right here. So this channel runs your speaker wires, and it runs your positive wire here for your tab, all down this way and underneath your board. And so that's what that's for right there. And your switches right here. So your two switches, this one right up here is going to be your activation, and it's just a little tight, but you just press it. You'll just feel it. It's a little different than this one, right? So, but they both actuate fine. You get that nice tactile feel. So activation, auxiliary, and we'll go through all that. So another piece that's on a magnet is this guy right here. So we're going to want to pull this off, right? And then here's your blade retention. So, you know, after you tighten down your blade, you slap this back on and it just stays there with a magnet. Won't fall off on you. This is not a dueling saber, but I'm sure you know that. This is a showpiece. It's very nice. It's a very unique build. I've never built with a 3-pin system before. If you can see those in there, those 3 pins, you got a positive, a negative, and then your middle is your data. And those run to your board. So I don't typically have to jump all these pads. These are all the negative pads for NeoPixel. You know, typically I've got 2 wires coming in that are negative, and I run them, and then I just jump one. You know, I've got 1 jumper, but I've got 3 jumpers here because I wanted to distribute all that amperage so we don't blow a MOSFET, because there is only 1 pin for your negative. So that's what's going on top of the board. Easy access to your SD card right here. I did put on the sound font Darksaber, I think from Repulse Customs that you sent me. So that's the first font on here. The second font's my Brittany font, so you can play with that at home. And you know, and then you've got your stock fonts on here too. So this board's not glued down to the chassis. I made it a tight press fit, so it just popped in there. If you look at it like that, I do put Solo Sabers on all my sabers, all my chassis, so it does say Solo Sabers right here. Everything's a nice tight fit. This chassis, it was nice press fit down. I made it exact. There's nothing loose on this guy. And then I tried to be as clean as I could with wires that I couldn't hide. So there was no getting away from hiding those wires right there. I think I did a good job though of hiding these here. When you get this in person, you'll notice that these wires here are covered up with black shrink tubes, so they weren't quite an eyesore going from here to here. Let's talk about your blade a little bit before we fire this guy up. Wow, this thing was kind of a pain in my ass, but I mean, it's cool. You know, everything is good. It's all put together. These pins, everything's good. These pins are glued in place. This panel right here that goes in the blade right behind the LEDs, I did not glue this in. I pressed it in. It's nice in there. It will come out if you take the back of the blade and you just start hammering with your hand a little bit. It will pop out so you can take it out. I opted not to glue that in because if I had and something happens to the LEDs down the road, there's just no getting in that guy. So that was a judgment call by me to leave that in there. But as you can see, like it's not coming out, right? It's not gonna come out unless you force it out like that, which I don't wanna do because I spend a lot of time on this blade. But so each side of this blade has 2 decals. So like the first vinyl decal was solid black. So I put that on there. And then the second decal is the one that you see right here. It's got kind of the, just, you know, the illustrations of the blade. So with those 2 decals, I think I did a really good job of making sure they were exactly, first one was exactly where it needed to be. And then the second one was exactly on top of the other one. So I spent quite a bit of time doing that to make sure that this didn't look hokey for you. So it doesn't, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. You know, it blocks the light actually coming from the sides for the most part. And you only see it coming out this way and this way. About the only time you could see light here, you can barely see it if you're holding down your auxiliary for your blade lockup and you're looking closely at it, you will see it a little bit. But for the most part, it does what it was designed to do. So there's that. Let's throw a battery in. Spring side, your negative. On here, the spring, that's your negative side. So don't ever put your battery in backwards. That's super important. This thing's super loud without the panel on. So we're gonna take that panel off, right? With the magnets, we just popped it off. Make sure we got our blade aligned properly. So the diagonals here are proper, and then we'll slide it in. So these pins align just fine and they push down to about right there. You'll feel it stop. You can't go any further. And then we'll tighten down your blade retention. Tighten that down. I did have to sand the corner of this blade right here. You do have to sand that in order for this guy to have the clearance to get past it. Because if I hadn't have sanded it, it'd get stuck right there. It's barely hitting it right now because I sanded it just enough to be able to just push it on by, right? I didn't want to abuse the blade any more than I had to. So remember, our button right here is your activation. You tap it, tap the auxiliary for blast or deflex. Hold the auxiliary right here for blade lockup. And then hit the activation again and turn it off. Flash on flash. So everything is working nice and smooth on this guy. It went together nicely. It was a bit of a challenge for me, but I like the challenges. It gets me out of the stuff that I do all the time. So it was nice to do a little something different. This thing's working like a charm. So if you got any questions for me, please let me know. If not, we'll get this packed up and in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks.